Welcome back everyone for a spinny spin-off, Cobra Kai WatchParty! Ever since the announcement that Season 6 would be the final season, the world has been in mourning. Why? Why must the greatest show on television and streaming come to an end? But the truth remained clear.
I'm gonna miss you. You had such potential. But then again, all good things must come to an end.
However, it is also true the end is never the end. Sometimes the end can just be the beginning. That may be the case for Cobra Kai. I've been speculating for years about a possible spin-off. The topic of that spin-off has always seemed straightforward. A show about Mr. Miyagi. There is so much of his story left untold. Season 6 greatly hinted at that. Mr. Miyagi's Box of Mystery teased a lot of clues and ideas about his life. It set Daniel on a different path. We learned of an attack and robbery that was so brutal, Miyagi fled the country. We also learned that Mr. Miyagi had fought in the Sekai Taikai, and clearly there's a lot more to go. Well, on my recent live stream, Hayden Schlossberg shed some light on the matter. I was asking him about all the items in the mystery box, and would the show explore them? Here's what he said. No, we discussed backstory for Miyagi that relates to items in the box, but most will be left unanswered. Gives us some fun stuff to play with in a spin-off. Well, that is a trove of information. It almost gives us as much to work with as the box itself. Right off the top, Hayden confirms they are working on a spin-off for Cobra Kai. What's even more important here is he further confirms what the spin-off is. Fun stuff to play with in a spin-off. That clearly means Mr. Miyagi. Now, I had been speculating about a Miyagi spin-off for years, so for my followers, this isn't new, as it confirms my biggest theory. Now, I would like to say Hayden was officially announcing the spin-off on my stream. I mean, that would make sense and would be the first great move Netflix marketing ever made. Unfortunately, Hayden did say no, he was not officially making an announcement, but he re-emphasized they're setting up a spin-off. Cobra Kai is easily big enough to justify a spin-off series. The first one will be on Mr. Miyagi. There is no more confusion or ambiguity. Hayden is telling us directly. However, it is worth noting there are other spin-off possibilities. Hayden previously talked about a potential Terry Silver or Dynatox spin-off. That would be a really cool way to explore Silver's rise to power in the 80s and how the teachings of Cobra Kai emboldened him to advance so far. Other possibilities would be college years or later of some of the young cast. Maybe something with
Mike fucking Barnes.
I would watch a Mike Barnes spin-off, but remember, if you want the other spin-offs, you have to show Netflix that it is a good investment. That means the Miyagi spin-off has to be successful. Consider Game of Thrones. Despite the ending, it was one of the biggest shows on television, and a spin-off was always on the way. After a lot of development, they went with House of the Dragon. And guess what? It was a success. It wasn't as big as the original series, but it was definitely the biggest thing on HBO. That was it. That was what they needed. It was off to the races. Now there's another spin-off, The Hedge Knight, filming right now. They're planning on Aegon's conquest story and much more. The point is, when the first spin-off succeeds, it opens the door for a lot more to come next. So if you want those stories about Dynatox and Mike Barnes and whatever, the Miyagi spin-off must succeed. Now Hayden provided some other useful information as it relates to both the spin-off and Cobra Kai Season 6. The first is about the box. He said most of the contents of the box will not be explored. That is huge. My initial impression when this came on screen was that all these items and clues were going to be explored in Season 6. That is not the case at all. You can assume the show is only going to address the elements that have already come up. That is specifically the news story about the robbery and beating, the fact that Miyagi was a silent partner in a gym and had a different name and birthday than what Daniel knows. And finally, the Sekai Taikai headband. It is clear Miyagi did fight in the world's biggest karate tournament. Did he kill someone? The blood belonged to someone. This is showing a side of Miyagi we never knew. I have a lot of great theories on this that you'll definitely want to check out. But that is only the beginning. Now that we know there is a spin-off and we know that it is focused on Miyagi, it is the perfect time to start theories on what this spin-off will actually be. We can already deduce several important points. Hayden acknowledged the trunk is basically artifacts for the spin-off. While based on Miyagi's timeline, fleeing the country in 1947 and being a partner at a boxing gym in 1949, it seems very likely the show will pick up somewhere in or just after 1949. I can really imagine the show as a Mr. Miyagi in the 50s sort of thing. It would pick up with Miyagi living at the gym and helping out. The first question to ask is, did Mr. Miyagi help teach boxing? It's hard to imagine he would get involved with a business like that without helping out as an instructor. Plus, Shane in the show seemed to talk about Miyagi as if he was vital to the gym's success. Now, Mr. Miyagi only taught Jack Pierce and Daniel karate. I would say having Miyagi working at a gym and helping out with boxing is a way to skirt around that established canon. He helped people learn to punch. He helped them with their footwork, keep their arms up as you do in boxing. He didn't teach them Miyagi-Do. I suppose it's a technicality, but it's significant enough to make a difference. Now, over the course of the show, most of the other items will come up. The calendar, did Miyagi know that model? He probably did. She had the hots for him. She desperately wanted his Miyagi-Do, if you know what I mean. The scrolls and letters could be anything, definitely potential. Are the scrolls new moves he created himself? We'll have to see. The bag is helpful because it basically adds a whole new selection of items. What that means is the writers aren't committing themselves completely yet. You can open the bag and there are 10 more artifacts inside. That'll allow the show to continue for several seasons. More artifacts, more intrigue as the time goes on. It's worth noting that we know from the promotional material that the calendar is from 1959. This heavily implies that the show will be long and likely have several time skips. It could even go up until the 80s, but I suspect it would end in the late 70s or so. We will see Miyagi progress through his life. Now, an important question is, will the show ever show a young Miyagi back in Okinawa? I strongly suspect it will, but it may not be right away. There could be a few episodes or even a season-long arc where we basically get flashbacks to when he was a child with Sato. It would be similar to how we got the Kreese and Silver flashbacks to Vietnam in Season 3. The only other question mark is the stuff we do know about. We know Mr. Miyagi got married, he joined the army in 442nd, fought in World War II, won the Medal of Honor. Will the spinoff show any of that? This may be a controversial take, but I would say it probably shouldn't. I think the power of the Miyagi spinoff series is that it explores the parts of Mr. Miyagi we know nothing about. Several decades worth. It doesn't need to show the stuff we already know happened. Maybe that is a mistake spin-offs and prequels often make. They show events the audience already knows happened, but maybe that lessens the suspense a little. We'll have to see. Obviously, that too could be a flashback. Another question considering that is the Miyagi box that is starting this. Does that mean the story is told via Daniel looking into all the various artifacts? That's possible. Maybe it would start like that, but I don't think it would be some format where each episode Daniel is looking at something new. That would get old fast and hurt the pacing. It's better to just dive in with Miyagi. Oh, and what would the show be called? Miyagi is the most likely name. However, after 6 seasons of Cobra Kai, I do think the show could be called Miyagi-Do. I'll explain more in another Miyagi video. Be sure you're subscribed, lots more is coming. Have a great day, I'll see you at the next watch party.